Our Bible word is Genesis 12 verses 1 to 2. Now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing." So this has to do with the calling of Abram. Now Genesis, the book itself, we cannot be sure when it was written. Some scholars speculate maybe the 10th or 9th century BC or 8th century BC. At least portions of it were written, but it was completed the way we have it today around the time of the exile. So we're speaking here of about the 6th to the 5th centuries. That's when the final product as we have it, that's when it was finalized and completed. And the events described in our Bible words, biblically, if you date it according to the genealogies or whatever of the Bible, it refers to events that supposedly happened around 1950 BC. So we read there of the father of Abram, Terah. He moved up from Ur, from the south. If you follow this map, going up the Euphrates River, they moved all the way to Haran. And this is, according to this narrative, where God gave the calling to Abram. And then Abram, he moved south. Eventually he reached Shechem, and that's in the region of Samaria. And also from Samaria he moved even further south. He moved to the desert, or the region of the south as it's called. That's actually the Negev desert, a dry region there to the south of Israel. Of course later on Abram moved on also to Egypt, and then also returned to the Holy Land. But this time period, I mean, we're speaking roughly here of 2000 BC, that period more or less. And also following that, was the time period when there were many nomads. And they moved, they trekked from place to place with their camels. And they would pitch up tents as they moved along. And so they were also pastoralists, looking after their flock that traveled with them. And there was normally this one strong patriarch who was the leader of this nomadic group. And the family line, he would continue it, or he would have received it from his father. And so this lineage would proceed from father to son, and then again from the son to his son, etc. So typical of this time period was nomadic peoples as they moved around. And this is a story also of Abram and Jacob, etc. And if you look at Genesis itself, there are two main areas we can identify. It's the first 11 chapters. That's the creation of the world and also all its inhabitants. And then it focuses more narrowly on the ancestors of Israel from chapters 12 to 50. And there are three main blocks. There's the Abram and Lot cycle. That's from chapter 12 to 25. There's the Jacob cycle. And then there's also the Joseph stories towards the end. So from chapters 12 to 25, it follows Abraham, and it begins now. Like I said, they traveled up the Euphrates River, northwest from Ur, all the way to Haran. And at Haran, Abram got the call. There he was 75 years old. And this is our Bible word. Now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing." This is quite a recurrent theme in Genesis, this promises of blessing to Abram and his descendants. God promises him, especially if he travels there through Shechem, and other parts of Canaan. God promises him, if you look around, if you look at the land that you see, this will belong to your descendants. This is your land. There's also promises of you will have many descendants as the stars of the sky. So there's repeated promises of blessing, which at this time was about having land and having many children. That was signs of blessing. But also what this depicts is that God, through Abram, wants to have a new beginning. God created Adam. With Adam, things went wrong. Sin entered the world. Also, there was the flood and the scattering of people, the Tower of Babel, etc. Just a big old mess. So this kind of represents this is a new beginning. A new beginning with Abram, a specific lineage through whom God wants to work. So Abram is kind of like a new Adam. And so Abram travels down from Haran down to Shechem, that's the area of Samaria. And of course, eventually he also goes all the way to the south. That is the Negev, or the region of the desert. So this is God calling Abram. God's going to do a specific function, a specific purpose for Abram. Things went wrong. Now he wants to set it right, focusing on this one man and his lineage, whereby God can have a relationship with mankind. And also, like it says there, humanity will eventually be blessed through Abram. Now, of course, we can also read that about in Apostle Paul and his epistles. The seed of Abram ultimately refers to Christ.